Device Nation behind the booth, Academy 2026, inaugural booth crawl with Leah Brownlee, Lazurite.
Very nice.
It's a pleasure to be here with you. I can't wait to talk about what we're looking at behind us. We are huge fans of Dr. Froimson, and he's meant a lot to me over my career. We've had him on the podcast, and just what an honor to know him and be connected with a product that he's showing. But I want to hear your story first. I understand you've got an interesting background.
Yeah, thank you for asking. So Leah Brownlee, I'm the president of Lazurite. I got into medical device in a very zigzag career pathway. I'm a chemical engineer, law school, worked at 𝐒𝐲𝐬𝐭𝐞𝐦 Innovations, went into big law. Later in my career, I started the venture group at Squire Patton Boggs in Cleveland, out of the Midwest, and Lazurite became one of my clients.
Cool.
So going into the pandemic, when everybody was shifting their careers around, I shifted into a small medical device startup. It's kind of changing the world of visualization.
Well, let's look at that visualization and see what you guys are up to.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Arthro 2. Arthro is the first wireless surgical camera FDA cleared. Today it is the only one on the market in the United States that can go into an operating room. So the key points, why wireless, right? So everybody has a wireless camera in their pockets. It's their cell phone. I see many of them taking pictures right now. So it seems very obvious. Like, why would you have a power cable and a light cable to enable a camera? But in the operating room, for the last 50 years, cameras have been changing surgery, making it safer with minimally invasive surgery. But the camera has always been tethered to this giant tower standing in the corner of the operating room. And so while surgery was safer, there were still some unsafe components, in particular, trip and fall hazard from the camera cables, which is actually the component that led to the invention of the camera. Our founding inventor was doing medical device consultancy and saw a PA trip and fall over those cables and get injured, and the whole case get pulled. So it's a very costly thing. But in addition to that trip and fall hazard, which we've solved with the camera cables, there's also the heat hazard of the light cable, where it can come untethered, burn a surgical drape, cause a fire. In Cleveland, we have Cleveland Clinic, very well known for shutting down the entire hospital system for a day about 10 years ago because a fire started in an operating room.
That's right. I remember.
And the Joint Commission has come out with safety alerts about how to manage the light cables. Our opinion is the best way to manage them is to get rid of them altogether. But in addition to that, so safety is fantastic. But what sells a camera is efficiency and ergonomics. This is better for the surgeon. It's easier to move around. You can put the camera at any angle you want to. You're not pulling cables behind you. And from an efficiency perspective, one of my medical advisors was just over here, and what he said is, I have to show up to surgery faster because they set up my room faster.
Wow, that's a ringing endorsement.
Exactly.
So what does processing look like?
So processing of the camera, and I'm going to pull this apart. So the camera head is what we manufacture. The camera head, battery, and then the scope over here is manufactured by a third party. As well.
A specialized scope or a standard?
It is the standard scope that you find in any operating room. And so you put the camera in our sterilization tray over here. And it's BHP sterilizable, batteries and all. So every tray comes packed with 3 batteries. That gives you 3 hours worth of surgery for arthroscopy. Most surgeries never last 3 hours, but if you need more, you can peel and pack the batteries and bring more in.
What's been the feedback, Leah, from surgeons that have made that transition from the cord to going wireless like that?
So it is a very sticky device because cords are annoying. And so I would say the feedback is really that aha moment of how bothersome it is to have to manage and move the cables around during the surgical procedure. So imagine you're going in to your second port with a sharp instrument. You don't want to nick the cable, so now you have a management motion with your hand to sweep them out of the way. We remove all of that from the field.
Y'all are obviously doing something right, because we've tried to get some time with you for like 2 days now, and every time we come over here, the booth is packed. So.
I appreciate your dedication.
Yeah. Well, you're clearly doing something that's getting a lot of buzz here, right?
Yeah.
I know you have to be excited.
Can I hand it to you? Yeah. So the camera system you're holding in your hand, it is forward weighted right on this balance point right here. So if we had a joint, what you would find when you're going into using your standard scope into your joint space, this is going to go into your joint space and you're going to lose all of the weight of your camera. And so the feeling is just moving it around, not a heft in your hand.
Wow. That's got to feel good.
Yeah.
Pictures.
Works exactly like every other surgical camera out there. We have a little camera button up there,
Focus ring.
focus ring on your coupler. Very easy, simple to use.
Just on
Yep.
and off.
On and off, just pop it on. Thankfully, in our medical device industry, everything is ISO standard, so that's your ACMI post. You remove everybody's adapters off of it, and our light engine fits right on.
It's a great invention. It just
Yeah.
is.
I think the question I have when I see something like this is, it's 2026, and why are we just having this, right?
Right. We've all had cell phones in our pockets for 20
Right.
plus years, right?
Yes. And I've had this discussion before that the shavers, the other instruments
Yeah.
are still cable bound.
Yeah, I mean, so, shaver is kind of, next on the list of a wireless operating room.
Yeah, getting it all. in
Getting
your
all
hand
the cables
free
out,
is-
more efficient movements, more in a safer space to be doing surgery in.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Great demo.
Thank you.
Again, great work. Great job, Dr. Froimson. For people watching this, Leah, for surgeons that are like, I'd like to see what that aha moment feels like for me, for 1099s to get out here and rep that product. What's the best method of them connecting with y'all?
Well, if you're at AAOS, come by booth 4231.
Okay.
If you are not at AAOS, stop by our website at lazurite.co and fill out the contact us form. We are here looking for distributors. This Gen 2 product was first used in operating rooms at the beginning of Q3 last year, and starting the beginning of 2026, we're broadening out our geographies to cover the U.S. by the end of the year.
And it's not an accident that I said the word wow, because I think for reps watching this, that's what we live for, right? A product that's not a me too, that's something that really does bring the wow to the conversation that maybe a surgeon hasn't seen before, that's different, right? This is that product. So encourage everyone in the audience, if you're a 1099 and sports is your niche, or you'd like to be in that niche, what a great option to have. What a great product. Thank you so much for inviting us behind your booth.
Yes, thank you very much
and
for
to share it
coming
with
by.
us. Wish you great success.
Thank you.
Here in New Orleans.
Thank you. Everybody enjoy New Orleans while you're here.
Not too much though.
Not too much.